people come in, they see us, and they go, ooh, let me look back.
Ooh, how they do about it?
Ooh. I like them. Them niggas are spots.
What the deal is, people?
Okay, so we are live.
What
Right?
is up? We are live.
Okay.
What's that?
Because
Okay, there we go.
Everybody?
Everything is working now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there he is, Bobby Blackhand.
Bobby Blackhand. Oh, we got one for you now.
Oh,
We ain't got a slate.
What's it called?
I was just gonna say I couldn't remember.
Johnny Minaj.
Johnny Minaj.
The fuck?
What the fuck?
That's your karate name,
Johnny Minaj.
Johnny Minaj.
Out of all the shit y'all could have come up with.
Hey man.
That's what you come up with?
You got Bobby Blackhands. Lowe's got about 2 or 3 of them.
I know, right?
No, that's you right there.
Butterloaf.
Butterloaf, man. That's the one though.
Butterloaf.
That's the one. That's the one.
Butterloaf.
Yes, sir.
Butterloaf.
Yes, sir.
Butterloaf.
Lord. Yes, sir. That's butter still. Hope everybody out there doing all right. Thank y'all for coming. Everybody that's enjoying this. They're live.
I ain't say that. I ain't type that shit.
Yeah, type what?
This is hello, hi. I didn't put that up there. We're
Really?
doing something
Maybe
else.
that's left over from last time.
Right.
Probably.
That's just the government.
Oh, you got a ghost now. Lowe's got a ghost.
Oh Lord, the new name just been born.
Lowe's got a
Oh,
ghost.
no,
Ghost.
no,
They call
no.
it.
That's
Always.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's the Holy Ghost. Without the T. Ghost. Lost the ghost.
So, that's
What am I looking for? Oh,
First time I could bang on the table because the camera's not going to move.
I know, right?
You enjoy about that?
Why not? You do that.
You can't buckle back.
I know. I'm just
So-
fucking Bobby.
Put down your cup of the smoke, so you're going to get squatted out.
I'm killing you with that shit, sir.
All right.
No teaser.
No teeth,
No teaser try.
Let's see what they
try.
want.
Come on, man. We're gonna be with y'all in 1 second. We're just trying to make sure we send out all the invites to everybody.
What's up, everyone who's here, or is that just us?
It's probably just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's probably just us.
Just us.
It'll be more later though. Yeah,
Oh yeah, they coming in. They coming in.
It's about 7 o'clock now anyway.
it'll be more later.
All right. Who was,
Almost.
who was the first black man to say nigga to
Your mama.
another black man?
The dude in Django, the Samuel L. Jackson's character, him.
What happened now?
He was the one.
Nah, I was watching a skit on YouTube, and it was titled "The First Time a Black Man Used the Word Nigga," and it was against another black man. It was just two black men sitting there, just white man is doing this. You had one dude just walking by like, "What's up, nigga?" And it kept going like, then the other two like, "What you just call me? What you call me, nigga?" Like, then it was like an epiphany. It was like,
Yeah.
we can take this word back. It's our word to say. Then all of a sudden, every black man that came across you, that got called nigga, like, oh, nigga. And then an epiphany. Our word.
Like a grand awakening.
Our word.
We can call ourselves that. But if you're not one of us, you can't say it. 'Cause you mean it differently than we do.
Man.
Really, what it boiled down to?
Another black man.
So what's up, folks, man? How everybody doing, man? And thank y'all, whoever out there.
What's up,
You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all. That boy Q, what's the deal, man?
So two more just jumped in. Hey,
That's what we like to see.
Yeah, man.
She meant that shit too.
Let's see.
Man, no.
So, I just want to ask you a personal question.
What's that?
On air.
Have you seen-
I haven't yet. I'm gonna watch it though, because
I ain't talking about nothing.
Because Andrew binge watched it in like an afternoon, and he was like, "Dude, I just haven't had time to watch it."
I read my daughter's talking about it. I read something about that it's considered going to be the greatest show ever on Netflix.
Shit.
They only got one season.
I'm just trying to throw.
But that's what Netflix do.
That's what I look at. I'm like, what? I'm not even interested in seeing niggas get bad. I really don't care.
I'm curious. I'll admit, I'm curious. I just want to see what's what. But hell, after that last episode of What If,
Oh man.
Ooh.
Man. Hey, bro, that was magnificent.
they had your boy Vision going hard.
For real.
Ooh. That was a beautiful thing.
And I've never seen Uatu get into a fight like that before.
That was what was really
Yeah,
surprising.
yeah.
Yes.
You mean you ain't never seen him get his ass whooped?
Nah,
like that?
I never seen him get into a fight, period.
You never
Because he's
heard
just a watcher.
Because in the comics, he was always just sitting back watching. But to see him actually throw some hands, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
At least he wasn't weak. I'll say this.
You know, he's not weak because he's actually one of the strongest characters in the
Yeah.
Marvel universe. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why they don't intervene.
because they could really tip the balance one way or the other.
Exactly.
But for him to have to throw hands like that and then get his ass handed
He got
to him.
handled. He got handled, dog. He got handled. But what I couldn't understand is when you look at the time police, right?
Okay.
When you use the Infinity Glove, well, the Infinity Stones,
Period.
when you use them, they're useless, right?
Right.
Because it's a different dimension.
It's outside of time.
It's outside of time. Right,
Right.
exactly. So when you're dealing with the Watcher, well, I guess because the Watcher is not actually outside of time, he just has the ability to be outside of time. But then again,
But you also have to remember that what was it? TVA?
yeah, the TVA.
Okay, the TVA was before the multiverse.
Right.
So when TVA existed, there was no multiverse. It was the one timeline.
Right.
They kept everything from branching. So the rules change once the multiverse exists.
Right.
So
Right.
that's really what you look at.
Right.
The rules
Right.
change when the multiverse exists
Right.
because
That's deep.
they
Right.
weren't
That's
out.
deep.
They were outside of time in the
Right.
TVA.
Right.
The being in between universes, which is really where the Watcher was, is not the same thing as being outside of time.
That's
That's
right.
deep.
Yeah.
Good
That's
point. That's brilliant.
Cause see, I got into a debate with somebody online because they were talking about the new Spider-Man movie, and they were talking about how in that movie Doctor Strange is going to create the multiverse. I'm like, the multiverse is already created.
Right.
That's what happened at the end of Loki.
Right.
We saw that,
Right.
and they was like, "No, did it really?" Or something they said, and I was like, "Dude, you need to go back and watch that again
Yeah.
because
If
you didn't
if
understand
don't
what
know
happened."
that,
Right.
then you're not really paying attention.
I don't even know if y'all saw the movie Carnage,
Yeah.
the new Venom.
I haven't seen it.
That post credit,
Save your money.
but that post credit
No.
kind of explains. This is the first time Sony is actually realizing, putting in a Sony movie. For those who haven't watched it, but it's that post credit is kind of like the waking of the multiverse, where even Doctor Strange is like, dude, we barely know anything about this.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're tampering with shit. We don't know. We're barely
But then
knowing about this.
But then he had to pull Doctor Strange out of his
Yeah,
prison
out of his prison that he created.
to be able to help him. He's like,
Yeah.
dude, I need some help with this
And
man.
he knew it was coming. He knew it was gonna be something coming.
Yeah.
He knew it. Because he said something to him like I was wondering when you were gonna get here. or
Yeah. Something like that. I can't remember the
that.
exact
Yeah.
line now, but yeah. Man, that was so good. I was like, okay.
I loved it.
Now, what somebody said that I thought was interesting to say. Now, what if when the new episode comes out this week, they don't even address that?
I know.
That's what Lo said.
They're not.
That's what
You
Lo
don't think
said.
they are?
They didn't address the Wakanda one.
But
At the very end of it, they were going to get together to fight, and they didn't do it. So in other words, what if Ultron won?
Last one
This is what happened to
they didn't do it, but in the
Ultron.
last two, they kind of connected.
right, that's what I was gonna say. Because didn't the Vision with the stones? He made an appearance in that one.
Right.
Right. Okay. So I think there's a possibility of that happening.
They might come back to it, but there's no reason to.
I wouldn't be.
What if he won? Well, this is what happened when he won.
Right.
Now
take it from there.
We're gonna put it, but what we gotta fix it now. Okay, yeah, but we just showed you what if he won next.
Right.
I mean, they very well could do that.
That's what they do.
They very well could do that.
Go to another one.
I know a lot of people gonna be mad because everybody wants to see the end of that.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
Everybody, yes, man.
And I knew they wasn't gonna go no further with the Wakanda thing because they couldn't show either one or two scenarios was gonna happen on that. Either one, Wakanda was gonna whoop the US, or the US was gonna whoop Wakanda. Neither one of those was gonna be a good look to show.
Right.
Right.
That's
Right.
They wouldn't finna show America getting beat by an African country.
Right. Right.
And they
Russia versus
didn't want to show America
Right.
destroying an African country.
Exactly.
Let's keep it
Exactly.
moving.
You can't go no place else with
It
that.
was like, got you.
Right.
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 Yeah.
We ain't
That's
that
now.
black.
Now,
That's
let's
now.
hope. Let's hope.
1972, we're gonna see the United States whooping Wakanda's ass. We're gonna give it.
or the
damn.
other way around.
No, we wouldn't have saw the other way around.
Right.
Right.
We not saw that.
That's
Yo,
our
okay.
timeline.
Hey man, but hopefully whatever this shit is they going through in courts right now, man, won't interrupt nothing though.
Which mean?
Because they're Disney's in they're in
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
a lot of money, man.
Yeah.
There must be a lot of money.
Not just it's some shit like
and it's a lot of artists, a lot of heroes and villains
It's
that
tied up.
are tied up in that.
So you'll probably never see
Yeah.
if it goes up one way.
That's the
You know what I find the most interesting
I think
of all
that's
this?
stupid as hell though.
Because I'm not
It's
into
greed.
it like you guys are. Y'all talk about it like it's real.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all talk about what's
for
the
us,
Marvel
it is.
universe. It's real.
For us, it is.
It
Well,
is real.
it is.
Superman will fly by me one day.
I always
It's
make
real.
that
Well, not that
comment.
kind of real, but
No, but I'm saying, but that's how you would talk about it. Like I
Right.
said, I'm not as into it as you guys.
Oh,
are.
yeah,
When you
yeah, I
talk
see
about
what
it, it's
you
like,
mean. Yeah,
man, because
yeah.
man, they gotta show. I gotta know what happened to. Because when you can't
Yeah.
have Ultron kicking everybody's ass because he'll take you bad. Okay, it's a cartoon, man. It's a cartoon. It's a cartoon. But they talk about like it's a real thing. Yeah.
Right, right.
Dude, when I was a kid, and I said this when Stan Lee passed, it's like that dude was part of the reason why I learned how to accept myself.
yeah.
Because he made the mutants, the oddballs, the weirdos, the ones that people didn't, want to touch or look at or be around. He made those people acceptable. And for me, that carried a lot of weight personally. It just made me look at myself and go, okay, so I'm not as, far out there as some people. I had that Morlock syndrome.
Yeah.
But don't get it twisted. You're not gonna do
this
this shit either.
You dance. I don't even know why you call it Morlock. You like the X-Men Beast. You're like, dude,
I'm blue. Fuck it, let's go.
Right.
And I'm smarter than all y'all bitches.
I had to be, dude. That was survival, man.
Black
On the black.
On air.
Karate man.
I'm becoming a new me.
Bobby said, let me ask you a personal question. And he say, oh, Al.
This is why I like this new setup now.
Right?
That's a hell of a form. Isn't it? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Personal
What the
with Bobby
fuck we
Black.
talking about? I ain't got no slate, so you gotta do this.
Oh, man.
Bobby gonna clap his ass cheeks to mark the scenes.
Oh, man.
What else going on?
Hands on you.
Now when Bobby do the hand thing, it's real nasty.
You could be white. I'll slap you black.
Oh Jesus.
Oh man. So everybody,
What's up,
what's
man?
been going on, man? We clowning, we're clowning. We just being us, folks. We're gonna get
It's
to it.
gonna be a long night. It's only 17. It's only 17.
Shit.
Now, we got a real good topic tonight, though. Yeah, we're gonna get into it.
I'm interested to see what everybody got to say about
Hey
it.
man, you got the floor. Shoot.
You know?
Okay.
Kick it.
I've just been seeing it around in different places, here and there, of course, being discussed in different formats. And I was just kind of curious to see what these fellas thought about it and what everybody else thought about it as well. But women in hip hop, as you can see from the title of the episode, the Madonna-Whore complex. There is a weird middle ground in hip hop, or a non-existent middle ground in hip hop, I should say, to where women either fall in one or two ends of a spectrum. Either they're portrayed as whores, where everything they talk about, everything they portray, everything they put forth is sex, sex, sex. And then you also have the other end of the spectrum where, you have your Lauryn Hills and things like that, where they're almost sanctified by the hip hop crowd. So I just wonder, is it possible to change that in hip hop? Is it something that's inherent to hip hop and unchangeable? We can't not talk about misogyny in hip hop if we're talking about this. So I'm just interested to see what y'all might have to say about some of it.
These bitches can sing, these bitches can't. Plain and simple. You can sing, man, we love you. You are a clown, you want to be rich and famous, you do whatever the fuck it takes. And with all that you do, I can manipulate your voice, and that's the difference right there. Go to a real concert and listen to them a cappella, and you'll know why. These bitches can sing, these bitches can't. That's your answer on my side. So, next, just that simple, right? And like Amy said, sex sells, man. Sex sells. That's what we want to see. I don't want to see you up there just regular because you can't sing. Now this girl can sing, so I don't mind if she looks normal, but you really can't sing. You're in here just to be famous. So, I want to see sex. That's what
actually,
we make them that way.
Actually, what he's saying does hold some
I know.
weight.
But that's the thing about Los. He gonna say it and he gonna make it funny, but he talking
right,
truth.
Right.
That's true.
It's just the truth. I see it anyways.
Because when you sit there and you name these certain artists that are on that end of things, and then you name the artists that are on the
other end of the
Lauryn Hill end of the spectrum,
right?
They're two totally different type of rappers.
That's right.
You see talent over here, and you see somebody who can rap over here.
Right.
It's a different.
Or can just put her voice on a track that can be manipulated.
Everybody
can do that.
There is a middle ground that exists. There's a road, a complete road.
You think so?
Yeah, it is. Because
It's gonna be interesting.
all of those women, all of these female MCs, right? Because we're talking about hip hop. Let's be specific. So all of these female rappers, female MCs, right? They're all types of them. So they do feel the spectrum. Okay. It's just that part here never gets heard. And this is one of the reasons. For one, a woman, in order to be paid attention to by the average person who gives even the slightest about hip hop, you either have to be uber good or uber sexy.
Right.
To catch
the attention
of the masses.
Okay.
As a female rapper. And that sucks, but it's true.
And they know that too.
Think about it.
Oh yeah, some of them do know it for sure.
Yeah, they know it.
Yeah.
And they're okay with it.
Right.
A lot of You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? There has to be a lot of them that's okay with it because it's a lot of them
That do it.
that exists.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there is it's just those they don't get heard. They don't get any recognition because they're not Uber either.
Can you give examples of some people from that middle ground?
Oh man, I'll give some exceptions to the rule because they made it, but they're way underground.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. Somebody like Jean Grey.
Oh yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
Somebody like Jean Grey.
Yeah.
She's more on the uber talented. Well, no, I take that back. She's more uber talented as just the MC though. I can't put her in the realm of uber talented because I don't know what else she can do outside of rhyme really, really well.
Right.
You know,
but if we're talking about hip hop, that's really the main qualifier.
Right.
If we're talking about hip hop, all we need to be worried about is
well, the reason I made
skills.
that distinction, though, is because you have some chicks on this end of the spectrum that can rap really, really, really well, but they still choose that, and that's because they rap good, but they don't have the talent to elevate that into something else to make it to a place like a Lauryn Hill.
Where they make that money.
You understand what I'm saying?
I think so.
Like, you can touch a few like this throughout time, right? At their time, Salt and Pepper was different. You know what I'm saying? They were different and they stood out. They were sexy, but they weren't uber sexy.
Right. They weren't over the top.
Right. They weren't over the top, but their music was really good.
Yeah.
Like they singing girl songs, and all of us know those songs because when they came on, we would jam them shit like we jam everything else.
And probably taught us a few things about how women think.
You know what I'm saying? They were different.
I was watching a documentary this weekend, doing some research for the subject, and it was a documentary with women in hip hop. And one of the people that they had on there was Trina.
Yeah.
And it was interesting, her perspective compared to a lot of the other women who were on the panels that they had, because she was of that ilk saying basically sex sells and I'm selling it.
Right.
And she was totally okay with that.
Yeah.
She just said it flat out. She was like, if I go up on stage dressed covered from head to toe, nobody's going to come see me. She's like, I'm going out on stage and I'm showing them what they want to see.
Right. She has no talent
to
keep an audience there for her.
She can't bring me
you know
in
what I'm saying?
by just singing
so
to
the
me.
fact that she can rap a little bit and she's sexy, then let's give them all of the sexy and a little bit of rap.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Yeah, but we got what? How many people up in here? And then
but what is but you explain that's explaining the Madonna complex.
Right.
But you never said what exactly, like, why is this important to you? What is it about this that catches your attention?
It really just boggles I won't say boggles my mind, but I find it interesting because I've been looking at misogyny just a lot, in the quote unquote, as the term people love to throw around nowadays is toxic masculinity.
Okay.
And just been looking at it in different places where it confronts. And being first generation hip hop, of course, I love hip hop. That's, something I grew up with, something that's always been important to me. But because it matters to me, I have to look at it and kind of examine it and go, okay, is there a way that we could change this? Is there a way that we could make this better? Because you see that this thing exists. And yeah, we all recognize the reality of it. There is a monetary motivation behind it, but it's just like drugs in rap. Does it have to be there? Is there a way that we could change it?
Right.
That was really the thing that I was wondering about when I started thinking about the subject in the first place. Mm-hmm. Because as hip hop fans, what can we do to try to balance the playing field a little bit to where a woman doesn't have to fit into either extreme to be accepted in the music industry? I mean, you have some rappers like No Name, who I love. I think she is dope, but she gets very little in the way of promotion. You But if you put her, to me, if you put her side by side with a lot of female rappers that are out nowadays, she would very well hold her own and probably whoop a lot of them.
Right.
But
right.
if you're not into it, you probably never even heard of her.
Mm-hmm. That's right. She falls in that same category as the old girl I just named.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of them like that, dog. You know, I'm not saying there's, you know, the farther you go up the scale this way, the smaller the amount of artists you find, though. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't have that many this talented, because then, you know what I'm saying? It will kind of defeat the purpose of being talented.
We need to form a female rapper super group with like Say Rock and like
Cyrock, she's another one.
And like Nicki Minaj, and put them together in a rap.
But what's the problem with having women at that edge of the extreme to the far left, like the, you know?
I'm not saying it's necessarily a problem. Okay. I'm just wondering why it exists, and if once we talk about that, is it something that we can change? Is it something that we could find a better balance for?
Why does it exist?
That's a good question, because from what I've looked at, it's really a symptom of the patriarchal society that we live in. I mean, women have always been classified as either you a hoe or a housewife. That was always the two categories that women had to choose from, you know, whether it was hip hop or whatever, you know. But you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. Oh, you know, you're a good woman. You're not supposed to be doing that kind of thing, you know. And that dichotomy has always existed in just our society, and the hip hop is just sort of a pinpoint of that, I guess you could say. It's one of those things where you can easily break down the categories because it's so extreme, you know. You don't see a Nicki Minaj, you know, and Rod Digger in the same category. They're just not. And so you can easily separate those two because the line is so clear between them.
So, but you know, there's also, and I don't even know if this is part of the point, but I was just thinking about it. There's also a closer relationship between a Rod Digger and a Nicki Minaj than there is like somebody like Cash Doll, maybe.
Okay. I never even heard of her.
Well, I wouldn't even say Cash Doll. Cash Doll is closer to Nicki Minaj. They are pretty similar.
Now, you know, somebody who I thought of as interesting when I started thinking about this subject, somebody like Doja Cat.
Yeah.
Who is hypersexual. She has a lot of sexual content in her music, but when you really sit down and listen to her, she is spitting, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sitting back listening. Like when I first heard of her, I don't know if y'all ever heard that song, that Bitch I'm a Cow.
No. Yes.
Okay. If you ever heard the song, it's retarded as, you know, all outdoors, crazy, stupid. But at the same time, when you sit and listen to it, you're really thinking to yourself, okay, she just threw this together, but she made it work. She's mad talented, but she's also got that hyper sex thing going on. And to me, I find that balance in one female real interesting. Yeah. It makes her stand out more than a lot of the ones on either end of the spectrum because she's walking the line.
Yeah. You know somebody else who, I can't say they were hypersexual, but they from time to time did hypersexual things, but it was different. And you'll see what I'm talking about. You remember Shauna? She used to be with DTP.
Oh yeah.
Now she is a lyricist, like she's an MC, right? But she was also very, very sexy, and she would do a lot of sexy shit. She would do shit that you could consider hypersexual, like not like Megan Thee Stallion hypersexual, a little more refined than that. But she would do shit that's more hypersexual than the norm, right?
Yeah.
But she rhymed the way she rhymed, you didn't even really notice it. Outside of you going, God damn, she's sexy.
Right.
But you be like, man, she's really fucking good. You know what I'm saying? It's a few. That's what I'm saying, man. It seems like that middle ground is not existent, but it really is. The whole gambit is covered. It's just that they just don't get the flashy lights that these get. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why those don't do that. Because like he said, what can we do to change it? Well, we got to change it. You're the one trying to make that money. Why don't you change it and deal with whether we like you or not until eventually people get used to what you're doing.
But I mean, she's there.
They don't. That's what they do. You know.
She's there, and she's doing what she's doing. She's making her money. Obviously, there's a demand for it.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I understand. Well, I don't know about your point, but I want to make sure I understand you correctly. What you're saying is for the integrity of the art, that portion of it really is unnecessary.
Yeah, for the integrity of the art.
For the integrity of the art. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But then you have to really understand too. You have to really understand this too. And this is what I believe. When they started making the transition and into the type of music that they were giving record deals to, and they stopped giving record deals to what people would consider the more conscious end of the market.
Yeah.
Right? And they started giving record deals to the more less conscious rappers. And this is on purpose, right? It's fast food music. Same concept.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they make a lot of fast money on it, right? So all of those things that you would put in this, what the average person would look at and say, oh, that's negative, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to hip hop, all of those things, that's what gets picked up first now. That's what you hear on the radio most of the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they pushing. And they've been pushing it so long, so much that that's what everybody wants, right? So when you ask, why is it there? That's why it's there. It was gonna always be there, but without that purposeful push behind it, it wouldn't be as big as it would be. It would look more like it did earlier on in terms of the talent part of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
In this one TED Talk that I was watching, and there was a female doing this TED Talk about women in hip hop, and she specifically pointed to Lauryn Hill, and of course her album The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, and she said after that came out, and then the second album never really appeared, never really manifested. She's like, it's like the record industry gave up on the conscious female rapper, on trying to promote that type of female rap. Then all you saw after that was females just being added to existing crews. So basically you started seeing every crew had to have at least one girl rapper, you know? And I thought that was a real interesting point because it's like,
that's true.
Women couldn't stand on their own for a while. Now you're starting to see that change a bit with, you know, some of the current artists who are out, but through like latter part of the 90s and the early 2000s, you really didn't see female rappers just kind of standing on their own. So I thought that was an interesting point as far as how the industry treats women in hip hop.
Kiara just said, what's up, Kiara? She just said that the social media is closing the gap between the fast food artists and the social media artists. And that's absolutely right.
That is true. That is
absolutely right. The climate is rapidly changing, dog, back to a more lyric-oriented thing. Now you don't really hear it on the radio.
No, you're not going to hear it on the radio.
You know what I'm saying?
Not yet.
But across the culture, that's what's happening.
Yeah, it'll come to radio. That's what I'm saying. We don't have to change it. They have to change it.
And a lot
they have to make us like what they're doing now.
I think without the sex and the exploitation of women, I think you still have that fringe of music. Because they go by, even if you take the sex out, they go by a totally different beat. They have a totally different beat than we have. And I found most of us that don't like that music, it's not so much that we don't like it because it has a half woman that naked that's halfway dressed, woman that's halfway dressed. We don't like it because we just don't feel that beat.
Right.
And then when they rap to it, like if you like mumble rap or not, I do. But if you don't like it, that's also a different cadence in terms of how they're rapping.
Yeah.
Which is totally different from what we're used to. And they get a lot of flack for it. But I would argue music was going that direction anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think especially I think we think about hip hop linearly. But if we understand in terms of almost like we was talking about different timelines, like different pathways it can take. We just saw Lil Nas X do a country song with a fundamental hip hop track to it, but it crossed over and did really well. So hip hop is malleable. It's just that, to y'all point, they may be promoting it more, but whether or not the black woman was halfway naked or not, that sound was coming. It was coming.
I mean, again, it was never going to not be there. I said that earlier. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It was never going to not be there. It's a part of hip hop. It's a part of creativity.
Yeah.
All of that is going to be there.
Yeah.
But I just said it wouldn't be as large as it is because it's the main thing
right now
on the radio in hip hop. That's the main thing.
Right.
If the art of it is to continue in a like a organic state without it being touched and it's allowed to just grow, then you're gonna see more interest in the actual art of rhyming and not just having a catchy hook and a beat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Without that extra push from the industry, that wouldn't be the main thing. Because it would have had no reason to change. It would have grown. Of course it's going to grow, but that growth doesn't, in nature, that growth doesn't normally take away the natural essence of whatever is growing. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. Yeah. I understand. I just think it would have been as big without industry push, because back in like the 90s when we was rapping, we heard the seeds of today's music when we would battle people like Shadow Mob and listen to a lot of down south Houston music in the early 90s. There was a sect that was doing gangster rap, if you will, that was influenced by Scarface and those guys or whatever. They slowed their stuff down. They really oversimplified their sound, to be honest with you. And I'm pretty certain you probably could draw a line from that sound then to where we are now. I think that's what I'm saying. I think this would have been inevitable to the same size that it is, regardless of.
When you say, like you just named like Scarface and Southern artists, right?
Yeah.
So you think, okay. See, I don't know. I don't agree.
That's what's up.
Yeah, I don't agree, man. I'm sitting there trying to. I thought I saw a connection for a second, but then I was like, nah, I don't agree. I mean, I'm not saying I'm right.
I'm just saying advance it 25 years. That's all I'm saying. Advance it 25 years, because what we're dealing with right now wasn't even really around as prominently around 2000, 2005. But this sound that finally got here, that's been coming since us. So people in our generation, they got in the rap game, they got out, and then you had the newer generation coming. Right. Then the newer generation coming. Right. I'm saying by the time we got to where we are now, that sound is their sound, and they're the ones that's controlling.
True.
The media in terms of like the music being put out there. They're the ones that's shaping that now.
And the advantage that they have now over where we were back in the 90s, when when we were doing our thing, is that they can bypass the industry altogether.
Right.
Nowadays, it is possible for a rapper to come out, whether male or female, and say, "No, I'm just going to do it and push it myself."
Whatever you want to.
So that in and of itself changes the whole playing field because now you don't have to play by somebody else's rules necessarily.
And that's my point.
Mhm.
If you look at it right now, what is it going back to now because of the internet? Your daughter just said,
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's the natural course of it,
Mhm.
because that's the maturity of. I'm not saying that would have never existed.
I
There's
understand
a
what
whole
you're
bunch of other art forms, types of hip hop
Mhm.
that are also still growing. They just don't get the light.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All of it was gonna always exist, but I just think that without that,
Remember Two Live Crew?
exactly.
They got Two Live Crew 24 hours.
Exactly.
Now.
That shit.
So that's my point
it'll
though.
never-
That's my point. Like that sound started around us, and that's where we are now. And that's what they like. That's what they like it all. They like the sounds, the visuals. They like it all. That's all a part of it.
We did too.
Yeah.
That's like our
We did
children
too.
listening
That's
to
what I'm
that,
saying.
changing it to this.
Huh?
It's like our children listening to that, and now they change it.
Yeah,
to
they
this,
just,
but it's,
you know what I mean?
where it started, that's where they
But
first
if you-
heard it from.
But if you look at the internet, it tells you, because that's what's happening.
Right
It's
on.
uncontrolled.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It's uncontrolled, and because people are just doing what's natural. It's not they're having to follow the mold that the industry
I'm with you.
is holding on to and pushing.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. Speaking of which, I came across this dude. Oh, we got all the veilers in here, man. Somebody
I
want
was just going to say, I saw his comment.
Yeah, somebody want to read that? Look like he brought it.
It says, then let them become lyrically experimental after they have established a solid base.
You got to go up one.
Yeah,
Oh, wait, let me
okay.
see.
That's the second.
Don't
part.
you guys think that historically record labels push artists, especially female artists, to put out music that is commercially viable, and then let them become lyrically experimental after they have established a solid base? It's really about appealing to the masses and not about content.
Yeah, but I think Jonathan addressed your question when he stated they're nowhere near as dependent on labels as we were.
Yeah.
Nowhere near. So it's almost like the market is the demand in the market is the true demand. You know,
Right.
It's not they took away record labels and A&Rs. So now they can just go on YouTube and then set whatever trend, whatever the kids like, whatever
They're still
listening to.
doing the
So
whore Madonna shit.
that's the market
without
demand.
without the company,
That's
they're
the
still
market
doing
demand.
the same shit because that's what we want to see.
But I understand your
I mean,
point.
actually,
I
when
understand your point.
but actually, when you sit and you really think about it, what he just said makes sense, and it still goes into, at the end of the day, what we're all still saying.
Right.
All of those things were gonna be existing, and they were all gonna grow, because that's just hip hop growing in
Right.
different directions. You know what I'm saying? Period. So it would have all existed. I mean, we'll never really truly know what the face of hip hop would have looked like if the industry hadn't decided to stop paying attention to the more prolific artists.
Right on. Agreed.
You know what I'm saying?
If it kept promoting Queen Latifah's instead of
hip hop.
you know.
Yeah, because I mean, they would have been signing exactly. They would have been
That's
signing.
because we started. We saw what happened. We know exactly when it happened because we started seeing people that was. I'm not saying for or against. I'm just making a point.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. We started seeing people and started attaching ourselves to, let's say, Moni Love, Queen Latifah. But then as gangster rap became more prominent, then we started attaching ourselves to like what's her name? What's her name? Yeah, Boss.
Yeah.
What was the chick from rapper La Choice?
Mm-hmm.
We started attaching to females that was in gangster rap. So suddenly, as the demand for gangster rap started going up, we started turning blind eyes now in transition of no more public enemies, no more intelligent hoodlums, no more poor righteous teachers, because now we're distracted by this influx of gangster rap that was pushed on us by the record labels. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then from there, I could draw a closer correlation to where we are now. You know what I mean? Not just straight from Luke, but I think it's an amalgamation of it all.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's just their visual and that's their sound.
Absolutely.
I think somewhere record executives realized they realized that there was a market for female rappers, but then it was just like anything else. we're not going to take the time to develop a female rapper. We're not going to take the time to, actually bring an artist along and try to get them, on this level to where they can hold their own against all these other MCs.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're looking for somebody who we can put out right now, who's going to sell a couple million albums.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're a one-hit wonder in a couple of years, we don't care because we've already made our money.
Mm-hmm.
And
but you don't care either because you did what they wanted to do. You just wanted that money and that fame. You know what I'm saying? So why blame the record people? You could have easily said, "Nah, man, I can't. That's not what I'm trying to do with my music, man," and walked out. But I got no other choice. Let me do what they got to do. I guess what he says, let me do this one thing, let people know who I am, and now let me go do what I want to do and see who follows me from there.
It's funny.
So to blame the record companies is like, you still did it, man. You still did it. So you could easily walked away, but you didn't want to. So don't blame them. It's not all their fault. You still did it.
Agreed.
If you wanted that money just as greedy as they were, you were just that greedy too. So
it's funny though, man. Because it's like
It's a business.
at the end of the day, yes, but it's also a matter of perspective. Because when you're an artist trying to make it into what is probably one of the hardest things on earth to do, right? And you get the opportunity to sign with this record label and they tell you, hey, we like you, which is why we're talking to you, but we want you to change, right?
Yeah.
That was on my mind.
At that point, you're gonna say, okay, because I just want to be in there.
Okay.
Or you're gonna say, I can't because my music means too much to me,
right,
to change.
For a second, I thought you said 2 Chainz.
Me too. I had to keep doing it. I had to keep doing it. I went, okay, 2 Chainz. Right. I'm glad you said it.
Or my music means so much to me that I'm willing to sacrifice for right now just to get in.
That's usually the rationale.
and then
Yeah,
hopefully,
that's usually the
when I
rationale.
change to what I want, people still
Accept him, right, or her.
Yeah.
Majority or just.
But you can't cry about it. You did it. Don't cry about it now.
But to get back to the main topic, do you have a problem with the depiction of women in that whatever percentile it is or whatever part of hip hop that covers? Do you have a critique of the depiction of that? That's your issue.
I'll explain that by saying this. I used to.
Okay.
I used to have a problem with the depiction of women in hip hop. But then, we all grow and mature, and our view of things change as we understand that people really do make decisions. And like Ruck was just saying, at some point, these female artists, whether they can actually rhyme or not, and I'm not taking anything away from the ones who do a lot of sex, stuff in their content. Some of them can actually rhyme, but if you can actually rhyme and you get, a record label showing interest in you, and like you said, you're given a choice. They're saying, okay, we think you're dope. We want to put some money behind you, but we want you to show a little more skin. We want you to, be a little sexy or whatever. However they approach that. That person made a choice. I'm going to go with this, and to whatever ends it leads me, or I'm not going to go with this, And so once I started to think about the choice that individuals make, I had less of a problem with it.
Okay.
I still don't necessarily like it in a certain sense, because I do think right now we are getting too much focus on the sexual aspect of women, when it comes to hip hop. We don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to deny a woman's sexuality. That's a part of a female's nature. That's just like sex is a part of our nature. We're humans. That's a part of who we are, who and what we are. But it just, to me, with the focus being solely on that so much, a lot of other things that we could be talking about and the subjects that we could be dealing with don't get discussed because they don't get the chance to breathe in the current market. Back in our day, hip hop artists made you think about things. They brought new ideas to the table. Nowadays, you do have some people who are out there doing that, but those are the ones, like we were saying, those are the ones who are having to bypass the labels completely. So I guess you could say, really, it's the industry, not so much the rappers.
Yeah.
It's the industry, not so much the rappers themselves, who kind of keep that going.
Why? What? Bad question.
Aren't they the industry?
No.
That's what they do.
Well,
That's
they're
what they
part
want
of
to
the
do.
industry.
They're part of it.
But you got to look at it like
how
this.
flows.
You got to look at it like this. If the industry was selling drugs, the rappers are the dope. They're the product. They're what's being sold.
Yeah.
Why attached the word whore to the Madonna-Whore complex? Why attach that part?
Where did I hear that from? I'm trying to remember where I heard it.
Did you say Karen?
Madonna-Whore complex. Madonna-Whore complex.
I was watching something. I can't remember what it was now, but I was watching something and they were talking about women in hip hop and they used that term, and I was like, wow, that's a hell of a way to frame it, you know. And so it stood out to me, but I can't think of now what it was I was looking at.
It kept on going past me.
Why call them whores? I mean, if we're gonna have an issue with what they're portraying on the screen,
Mm-hmm.
why attach whore? Why do we have to call them whores? Why do we have to make it a whore complex? That's my question. Like, aren't we reinforcing the same thing we're criticizing them of?
True, to a certain extent, but it's just like any other word. It's a descriptor. It's going to describe a condition or a circumstance that we're trying to talk about.
Okay, what's the equivalent for men? Right,
was
you
it
don't have
Kevin
any.
or
That's right, you don't have any. Exactly, that's the problem.
But again, that's the patriarchal society that we live in. Because if a man messes around with a bunch of folks, a bunch of women, he's a player. He's a, you know.
I'm not trying to take the conversation there. I'm not. I'm really not. I'm not trying to take the conversation there at all. I'm just making an observation. That's all. I'm just making an observation.
No, I get that.
Like we're almost shooting ourselves in the foot with the way we even describe it or talk about it.
True.
yes, Amy.
That's what I'm talking about.
The what? The cone. Cone tatas. She talked about Madonna. I think.
Old tatas of the 80s.
But she was saying also where it says there is also the possibility that it's just the look that sells. Entertainment is only an act. It may sell sex and promiscuity, but at the end, but off the set, they're whole different people. They got.
Oh yeah,
that's most of the time.
Yeah,
that's most of the time.
Yeah, most of
you
the
may
time.
get some that, of course, every time they're in public, they gotta be. You know, I gotta show them.
But the argument is that the kids seeing that aren't taking that into account.
Right.
That's the argument.
Right.
Like yes,
Right.
we all, of course, every mature individual knows. Okay, we see through the act.
Right.
But it's the children that attach themselves to that image,
Right.
and they take it as face value.
Yes,
Because
they do.
we took our 90s rappers as face value.
Yes. That's
So that's the issue. That's the issue.
Well, like I said, they have to change it, not us.
Yeah, it's
We
not
know
it's
what
not
we
our
like.
yeah, right.
We know what we like, so if you just keep bringing it up, if you're willing to come out here, whether people like you or not, just do your shit, keep doing it. People may follow you. Who
Well,
knows?
for
But
now-
you want that fame and money right now, so you're willing to do whatever the hell it takes.
But
So,
for now,
that's
this
right.
is the truth. Yeah, it's when you look
Don't
at the
complain.
kids in hip hop now and like the portrayal of particular black women, it's not that we really disagree in what we like. We just disagree on how it's been presented.
Yeah.
That's really fundamentally at the end of the day, we disagree with how you're fundamentally presenting this to us, you know. But we agree, we all like Megan Thee Stallion, you know what I'm saying? But it's coming a time that ain't gonna be applicable no more.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah.
That's the direction hip hop is going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's not gonna be applicable anymore.
There's a limited lifespan on that.
Yep.
For real.
that's all I'm saying.
All that stuff.
Yeah, man, I was on Instagram 2 nights ago, and you know how somebody go live and you're like, "Hey, such and such live."
Yeah.
Man, I know this way off subject. I'm sorry, but it's hip hop. Man, it was some dude, man. It was this white dude. I think his name was Flocka. It's Flocka, something like that. It's underscore
white
Flocka.
dude?
Yeah. something like it's Flocka or Lock or something. And he was a DJ. I think he's from the Northeast, man. That dude was putting out some of his beats that he's doing and was rapping. Man, it sounded good.
Oh yeah.
It sounded good. I said, I texted him. I said, hey man, I ain't heard hip hop that sound that good since like the 90s. It had that kind of beat, but it was a modern day, representation.
Yeah.
I say, dude, you got a really good sound. He's like, thank you, man. I saved him too. I sent him to y'all, man. He's really good.
I'd be interested to hear it.
Yeah, man. He's really good. He's really good. For real.
Man.
I know Los don't want to hear that though.
I was gonna say you don't have to send me. I'll hear it when you show me. I'll hear it. I'm good.
You good, man? You don't want none of it? They don't want none of that.
When we come out mainstream selling sex, I'll see it then.
With some backup
That's
dancers.
what we want.
With some backup dancers shaking ass, right?
That's what we want. Get some babes on the side of the turntables, man. Go ahead on, man. Or that beat would go harder with some asses shaking next to it.
We got that,
you know.
We got that. We want that.
Nowadays, it's gonna be some dudes shaking their asses.
There you go.
That's
I'm
a
trying to let it make it. I'm trying to let it make it with me.
That's a
I'm trying to let it make it. You brought it to us. You brought it to us.
We only got
You
7
brought it
minutes
to
left.
us. You tried to let it make it. You brought it to us, man. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Animals like hell no. Fuck these people.
They're going crazy. Fuck that.
Oh,
It's going to be very-
Oh, damn.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to send me that one either. I'm good. I'll skip that one.
Yeah, I
Oh,
passed.
that's so gross.
I passed. I passed.
Chippendale Part 2.
Oh no. You imagine that being on MTV.
That's where it's going, though. That's where it's going.
Woo!
You ain't gonna know if it's a girl or a boy up there dancing. It's gonna be so.
You're just gonna see some cheeks. And you're gonna be like, oh, wait.
He's not gonna
I'm
know.
like, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna see where they go with this. I'm holding off all responses. I'm gonna wait.
Like, I will not react.
I'm going to wait.
Like, you gotta turn around first
Yeah,
before I'm
man.
gonna get on board.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yes, sir. Boy, science is killing the game. But science is killing the game, man. For real. Wow.
Oh, jeez.
I'm going to play the Squid Game to see. Like,
Boy, that's just
Hey, look. What we was talking about earlier.
Johnny Minaj.
LaBelle said Prince could actually sing, but early in his career, he was a grinding machine and a sex seller. Example, Darling Nikki.
Right.
Stuff
And
like
he kept
that.
doing it and keep doing it, and we
Right.
kept following him and we kept
Right.
following him, and look what he turned out to be. But some people aren't willing to do that.
Yeah.
They just want to do this and keep selling this and keep selling. Now it's done. Okay, I'm done with music too. I made my money. I don't care anymore. To me, that's you don't care about the music. You just
He
want to make
actually
some
had
money.
talent, though.
Yeah.
Right,
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Mad
It
talent.
wasn't. Because see,
All them
one thing I think with that people may be forgetting too is it. Yes, it's content, but content is not. Content is just a product of what's the focus. What the focus is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What the focus is in the industry, the content is just a product of that, man. So, because you had people like Lil Kim, she was uber sexy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But she could actually rap good. You know what I mean? You had Foxy Brown. She wasn't quite as uber sexy as
Kim was.
Queen B. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? But she could really rhyme.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I actually preferred her over Lil Kim back in the day.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
I
Because
did
to
too.
me, well, not only was she, to me, she was lyrically better,
Yeah,
but I just, like dark skin. So
yeah.
it's my thing.
Definitely.
So.
And hell, neither one of them was writing most of their own shit anyway. So you had Biggie writing for one and Jay-Z writing
for the other.
Oh,
So
that's crazy.
it was really just which one of them two you like better when it came to lyrics.
So maybe we need to reframe how we seeing it. Like maybe like Lil Kim and Megan Thee Stallion and Minaj and all that. Maybe they're just female entertainment versions of like R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I mean?
Kelly.
Like you can't find no compliment for a man in hip hop to that. You know what I'm saying? We masculine in rap. You know what I mean? We ain't trying to seduce nothing. You know what I mean? Not the rap. LL tried. But and then maybe
But
I was gonna say Big Daddy Kane.
We're not going like
Big Daddy Kane was the sexy man back in the day.
But he was just a dude on the women.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So all right, but he wasn't trying to like seduce and chant and all that like music does. Maybe they just a female R. Kelly, man. And we gotta live with that. They deserve one.
They the Pied Pipers.
It's all of it. It's all of it, man.
Till we find out they like to pee too.
Oh, I like that. I like the music. I like Megan though.
Yeah, for real.
Right.
For real.
I don't like her music either, but I will say this. I will give props where props is due. I think she has one of the most basic rap styles.
Mm-hmm.
And people, when I say that, just because you rap fast doesn't mean the style isn't basic.
Right.
Okay. So people gonna be like, Megan, she don't rap basic. You heard this song, and all it is her rapping fast.
Yeah. That don't mean
that does not mean you have skill and all
Trina,
that.
yeah.
Not saying she doesn't.
I love Trina.
But I will say this. I never really liked any of her music. I always gave her props for doing what she's doing, getting the money, getting the bag, getting fame, all of that. Yeah, she's from H-Town, so I'm not gonna down her. But I mean, I'm just not a fan of her music. I'm not a fan of her style, right? When dudes do that style, I have it's the same thing.
No
I don't like it.
for
I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just talking about the way she was rhyming, not her content. That style of rap, right?
Yeah.
So, I heard something as recently as earlier today where I saw her style beginning to improve a little bit.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like I can tell that she's actually working at trying to do better and be a little different. She's trying to grow her craft. She's trying to grow her craft.
Yeah.
Right. And anytime I see that in a rapper,
you gotta give her props.
I applaud that. You know what I'm saying?
Because you're supposed to evolve.
Right, exactly. If you're really interested in the craft of it, there's a want for you to get better and better. So if I can see it, I dig it. You know what I'm saying? What's up?
No, I was responding to a comment that Amy made, but anyway. But Kiki made a good point.
Yeah, I was just gonna read it. She said we talked about her flow the other day. She puts out the same song constantly, but it's catchy and it bounces, so it's popular, right?
Yeah,
right.
That really sums her up.
About Ernest.
What Ernie say? I feel as though when it comes to Grammys, the rap category should be separated, and hopefully in the future this happens. No way Cardi should have won the Grammy over Nip content-wise. Sex sells. Absolutely. I agree.
You know who you ask.
I agree. I agree because the only reason I agree with that is because the climate is pushed in a certain direction.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't being pushed in a certain direction, I would not agree with that because it's still all hip hop. And if there's no unfair advantage, I think it should all be judged the same way in terms of
one category.
Like if you're gonna do an award show.
If you're gonna do best rapper, then the best rapper is the best rapper.
Right.
That's it.
Exactly. Right.
So hip hop has outgrown the categories. Then that's good. That means the artist growing. It's evolving.
Yeah.
If it's breaking categories now, you gotta start getting all. You have to start dissecting it. That means it's growing.
I think it was already beyond the categories that they have. I think
Cool.
the categories that they put there is what stifles it.
Agree.
Yeah,
I ain't tripping. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. They don't have a voice in society other than
Right.
the people.
right,
But most of the people ain't on that. You know?
right, because of the same
Right.
shit.
Right. But that can increase their revenue if they changed up the categories and made it more appropriate.
I think so.
That would increase their revenue,
Most
at least
definitely.
the artist revenue
Most
anyway.
definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Because that's why they're not getting notoriety.
Right. Yeah,
Shit,
man.
man, it's 8 o'clock, y'all. Y'all want to keep it going, or y'all want to shut it down?
I'll give y'all 15 minutes to actually shout outs, gifs, or whatever. But keep it because we have a lot of people that are coming in now, and they still want to have.
Oh well, shit.
But they
Let's
need to
talk.
call in there. Call
Yes,
in.
talk.
I do want to give a shout out to my nephew, JT Life Insurance.
That's what's up. All right. What's up?
Good looking
JT
out
Life
nephew.
Insurance? No
My
doubt.
nephew Gerard, he got his own life insurance thing going on.
Amen.
Oh, that's
I'm
dope,
proud
man.
of the boy. I'm
Yeah,
proud of
him.
hell yeah.
I'm glad he do this
That's
thing.
dope. That's dope, man.
Angela.
Y'all look him up on Instagram
Yeah,
under
yeah.
JT Life Insurance.
Amen.
So,
So, since we ain't talked about it, I'll bring it up.
What's up?
Kane or KRS-One.
I was just,
got something.
Kane or KRS-One. It's gonna go down.
you know, man.
It's gonna go down.
I like it's
So-
really hard to judge, man, because
So, okay, wait. I have one question.
yeah.
So, is this going to be a real battle, or like where they freestyling,
I'm gonna put it like this: if you look at the two types of versus battles that we have now, right?
Right.
I believe that because it's who it is, it's gonna be more like the one with Dipset and the Lox.
Okay.
Because that's the type of artists they are. They're on that side of it. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna want to go out there and do what Jadakiss and them did. You know, something more organic.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
KRS-One is going to
See,
exploit.
If they do though,
Yeah,
if they
but
do,
see,
It's going
but
to
see,
exploit the
this is
hell
the
out of
thing. This is the thing. KRS-One knows how to rock a crowd unparalleled. Like he's that's part of his whole thing. Always has been.
yes.
You know what I'm saying? Big Daddy Kane, his skill set is way beyond KRS's skill set in terms of writing, right? Like not metaphors, but like stacking and patterns. And not saying KRS can't do it,
Mm-hmm.
but that's what Kane specializes in. That's the shit he's known for.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's not what KRS is known for.
Okay.
KRS is just known for battling, freestyling, and shit, you know, positive music and being a b-boy and can rock the hell out of a show. But when it comes to just lyrics, like, you know what I'm saying, just different cadences and all of that, that's more what Kane is noticed for. So it just depends on the energy of the crowd.
Yeah.
Because he can rock the crowd, but if he get up there and just raps really, really well and captivates the crowd the way he knows how to, he's gonna
That's an open shit.
he's gonna spit and people gonna be like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? But the game changer is this, which I don't even see really happening because there's no traditionally so far, there's been no place for it.
Okay.
And that's freestyling.
Mm.
If KRS get up there and start freestyling and everybody knows he's coming off the top, Kane ain't gonna be able to do that with him.
No.
And when he does that, he knows how to rock the crowd with it. So if he can't come back and do something to balance that out,
see, and that's what
it's gonna be a wrap.
If it's a real freestyle battle, KRS want to eat his lunch, and not taking anything away from Kane.
Right.
No, I love Kane.
That's one of my favorites. But see, the way that it's supposed to be is 20 songs. 20 of they dopest songs, and they go back and forth.
Right.
Round for round.
If that's gonna be the case,
Kane got it. I mean,
Kane might pull that out.
I don't think so. I think Chris got way 20 more songs than Kane do in terms of like being able to get the crowd involved and show his lyrical skill. Because if you look at like from Boogie Down Productions' first album, and then you look at what was one the Blueprint, and then you look at Boom Bap and all that, he has edutainment.
Yeah,
like he changed so much over the years. All he has to do is go like maybe 3 tracks an album. You know, even all the way down to when he found God and was talking about God. Like he has way more material than Kane has, but I don't know. But my money's with KRS-One.
Yeah, I'm still gonna have to go with KRS on it. Like I said, I love Kane, but I think
Kane
KRS
could do it. I don't know.
And you know what? Kane been asking for this battle for over 20 years. Man.
Sure.
Really?
Yeah, because him and KRS are really homies, right?
Yeah.
And he's always wanted to battle KRS, right? But everybody wanted him to battle Rakim. But he kept saying, I respect Rakim. He's dope as shit. But Rakim not a battle rapper.
Right.
I want a battle rapper. And KRS-One is a battle rapper.
Yes,
he does what I do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was like, that's who I want to battle.
Yeah. Okay.
He gonna get it too.
Ooh-wee.
And the show gonna get it
Be
too.
careful what you ask for. Because sometimes.
Get it.
Sometimes.
So you got the master of ceremonies versus the nigga that's been hunting him for 20-some years, man. You might have some weight on there, boy.
I mean,
I got some special made just for this. If it ever comes out, this is hell.
That's gonna be good though, man. It's gonna be dope, man.
That's what's up.
Lavelle got Big Daddy. That's what's up. Yeah, man. That's who I was originally going with, man. I don't know, to be honest, because they both great, man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if we talking about straight pen, I mean, Kane gonna win that off the top. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I give
All
you
we
that,
talking
yeah.
about is straight pen, King gonna win it off the top. But we talking about album for album. I mean, record for record.
When was the
Man,
last time-
KRS-One gonna be hard to beat, bro.
When was the last time Kane even put out an album?
84.
I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure, man. I can't. I don't know the last. Let's find out.
Okay.
Yeah, that should be around 87.
Let's see. The last time Kane put out an album.
Yeah, it should be around 87.
Yeah, man. Why don't y'all give us a call then?
It was at least in the 90s.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. I didn't graduate till 92 in hell.
You were still putting out albums in the 90s.
Right.
Hey, if y'all got something y'all want to say, give us a call. 281-858-3107. Again, give us a call. 281-858-3107.
And oh, there it is. I was going to say.
We got about 5 minutes.
Oh, say 2000. Well, on the streaming services, it's 2018.
Oh,
but that doesn't mean he haven't released something that's not like
His last.
Man, shit, Cody Kennedy just dropped a new album. I ain't
Well,
know that.
actually,
Yeah,
it could still be on.
It could.
But that's 4 years.
Could.
3 years actually.
You could.
Yeah,
You could.
2018. So let's see when the last album KRS-One dropped.
Yesterday.
I'm seeing 2001, and that was a best of.
Whoa. He had a best of in 2001. Oh my Lord.
That ain't right.
Wow.
Forget
20 years since you did anything.
Well, he's dropped albums in 20 and 21, but it's like compilation albums with other people and stuff. And it looked like he re-released "Step Into My World" in 2021. Single.
Got nothing left.
Yeah. So we'll see, man.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for sure.
We'll see.
Nothing else. It's gonna be entertaining.
We'll see. I mean, I gotta be honest about this too before we go, man. Last time I saw them both on stage, they were both still dope. Both still doing what they do.
Yeah.
But KRS looks more youthful in his movements.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Part of Big Daddy's stage show too was his dancing and you know all that stuff moving around. So
I mean, he still does that, but I'm just talking about his bodily movements.
Okay.
When he moves, he doesn't look as
like an old man.
He need a real cane now.
Right.
I'm the Big Daddy Kane.
You know you're old when your cane got tennis balls on the bottom.
But
half
even
off.
though that, he was still killing it, man.
Yeah.
He was still impressive, bro.
Yeah, man.
Shit, man. I think we're about to call it a night, people. Thank y'all for being there, man. I wish we had some callers, man, to call in, but that's all right. Appreciate y'all for hitting the like button. We really appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
We gonna have a funny dude with us on Wednesday, y'all. He's smart as hell, but he's funny. Jamal Simmons.
Oh, yeah.
Jamal
That's the
Simmons gonna
homie,
be on
man.
the
That's
show
the
with us
homie.
Wednesday. Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's what's up. Cool,
Yeah.
cool. You remember Jamal, huh? He went to school with us.
Wait.
He graduated with you, right?
Not Wednesday, Monday. He's gonna be here Monday.
He graduated with you, right?
Yeah.
So he graduated after me.
Yeah.
I remember Jamal from
He
high
had
school.
a cousin named Squeaky. He used to always hang out with us.
Oh,
His cousin, Jamal, Squeaky and Jamal, they always together.
okay.
Squeaky and Jamal. That sounds like a show nowadays.
Right?
And they work together. They
really do.
Squeaky and Jamal. That does sound like the name of a kid's show,
Right.
Or even just one of them adult shows. You know?
Right.
Squeaky and Jamal.
Yeah, it could be.
I think we.
I'm
Shout
good.
out to
Straight.
Mama and everybody else.
Yes.
Shout out to everybody that watches.
Live long and
Shout out
prosper.
to Amy, Kiki.
Listen, prayers up for one of my homies who's also who Angela Rice introduced me to. He's a very good friend of ours. His girlfriend passed.
Oh wow.
I believe Sunday.
Oh damn.
Yeah, she was fighting. She was something else was wrong with her. She was sick, but then she caught COVID, and it was just 2 months for her.
Oh, you're just overwhelmed by it.
Damn.
So you know, y'all
That's
just
funny. Where every
throw
time,
some prayers up for that, man. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
every time nowadays, if somebody says something like that, the first thing after was it COVID?
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
It's not with cancer. No cancer.
Right.
We don't even think. No, was it COVID? Oh,
Right.
man.
Hey, Jonathan, when they say throw up some prayers, what you do?
Hmm?
What you do when they say throw up prayers?
I throw up well wishes, positive energy,
That's
whatever
what's
you
up.
want
Throw
to
it
call
to the
it.
universe.
I can't. Yeah.
That's what's
I
up.
can't do nothing else.
That's what's up. What about you, Los? What you do?
Pretty much the same.
That's what's
You
up.
know, throw a prayer up. I mean, if you're God, I'll throw up.
Yeah.
He believe in you, so look out for him, right?
I was just asking a question.
Look, this ain't for me. It's for him.
It's not for me.
I'm asking for a
Double
friend.
potion, boy.
It's not for me. Don't ask for anything else.
Double dose.
How many names you
Double dose.
You're gonna wind up being like Wu-Tang back in the day. Everybody got 15 names.
Hey man.
25 names on the
The double dose.
The butter, the los,
The double dose.
the los, the double
Doing that rerun, that pop lock.
Yeah, I ain't ready for it.
All right, man. Y'all
All right.
be easy.
Take it
One
low.
love. Appreciate
Peace
y'all.
out.
Man, I don't know what's wrong with my neck, but I think I found it finally, man.